Welcome back to FM Story. We're approaching the midway point of season 12 of our save, where we try to end the dominance of Rangers and Celtic in Scottish football. Things had been going so well, and then in the last episode, our form has absolutely cratered. We are sat third in the league table. We're not adrift or anything like that, but we need to get better. And Champions League wise, we're in serious danger of going out of the competition without getting into the knockout stages. So without further ado, let's get into the action and see if we can turn things around. We've made it to a couple of days before Christmas. We've got a big league game coming up at home against Celtic. And since the end of the last episode, we have recovered our form slightly. We started with a 2-1 win away at Dundee United. Not great. We did change the formation up slightly. Didn't really seem to do an awful lot. We then had a comfortable home victory against Ross County and a less than comfortable victory at home against Dunfermline. We then switched the formation up again for the game against Chelsea and just really did not perform at all. Switched it again for the game against Arbroath and just about managed to come away with a 98th minute winner against a team that were rock bottom of the table, so things weren't working. Hibs, we started with the same formation that we played against Arbroath. Things rapidly were showing that they weren't improving, so we went back to the 4-3-3 that we'd decided in the last episode wasn't potentially working, and that seemed to work perfectly fine. So we're back to the 4-3-3. As far as the Champions League's concerned, we are in real trouble in terms of potentially not qualifying. We're sat currently in the last of the qualifying spots for the knockout stage, and we don't have the best of games left. We've got RB Salzburg left in the next game in the Champions League, and then we've got Athletic Bilbao left as well, who both teams are above us. So if we can beat them, then obviously that'll be good. If we don't manage to pick up 3 points in those two games, then we're going to be in a real problem and probably aren't going to qualify for the knockout stage. And then as far as the league's concerned, we are back to the top of the table, but that's only because we've played a game more than Rangers, who are level on points with us. We are now clear of Hibs despite having played a game more than them, clear of Celtic despite having played 2 games more than them. So we're in a pretty decent position. We could just do with Rangers slipping up at some point, or also making sure we get 3 points against them the next time we play. So this is the team we've gone for. Obviously we are back to that 4-3-3 as we said. We are missing Fayette. Is only just coming back from an injury, has kept him out for a big chunk of that bad run of form. He is only fit enough to play half an hour, so he's on the bench just in case we desperately need him. And we've gone with Thibaut at left back just because he's played a lot recently and has played pretty well. And then Dusink is struggling fitness-wise, so D'Alessandro's into the starting lineup. Otherwise, it's what we would have considered our first choice team at the start of the season. Obviously, as with any game against Celtic in the save, we've got to try and keep Home, Luvumbo, Domina, Skamaka quiet, because they're the ones that have caused all sorts of problems throughout this save for us. So obviously, as we said, we've gone back to the 4-3-3. They're still with the 4-2-3-1 that they've played most of this save. Right, and from the kickoff, we've got the ball. Nuevo back to San Martin. Across to Rackler. Kerr on this left-hand side, cuts in, back to Rackler. Kerr gives it away, and now we are struggling. Oh no, he's won it back. It was a strange bit of play. D'Alessandro into the area, squares it. Casanova's there, and that is the absolute best start we could have hoped for. 1-0 up in less than a minute. We were a bit sloppy with it, but Kerr then wins it back, brings it forward, slides the ball down the line for D'Alessandro, who gets to the byline, just low cross, and the only one in the box to react to it was Casanova. Right, a free kick for them that's gone long, goes all the way through to Medina. He then goes long with the clearance. And we've just let them have the ball at the back there. Now they're attacking down the left-hand side. Domina loses out to Dudu though, and San Martin gives the ball away. Dudu wins it back again and goes back to Medina, into Rackler. D'Alessandro moving down this left-hand side now. Infield to Nuevo, and we've gone back to Rackler. We're looking pretty decent on the ball as it stands at the moment. D'Alessandro goes from distance, very little backswing. Seems to have caught the keeper by surprise because that looked like it was going straight down his throat. Rackler into Nuevo, finds D'Alessandro, just takes the keeper by surprise, beats him from distance, and that's just 2-0 up in less than 4 minutes. Right, Kerr with a corner, swings it into the near post. Casanova, the only one really to rise, heads home, and that's 3-0 in under half an hour. And it's turned into a bit of an inspired decision to go back to the 4-3-3. Maybe we just needed a bit of time, change the formation, change it back. It's worked. Powers the header home at the near post, no one getting anywhere near him, and a nice comfortable performance so far. Right, another corner. Kerr swings it in again. This time it was Rackler that got up at the near post, but his flicked header goes over the top. And they are all over the place at the minute. They've gone short with the goal kick. We've tried to kind of box them into their own area. They've gone over the top. And now Lovombo's through. But can't hit the target. Medina turns it behind for a corner. And we nearly got caught out there. It was pretty straightforward, simple ball over the top and then runners. Medina comes and claims the corner though. And the first real attack comes to nothing. And there we are, half-time, 3-0 up. Really comfortable performance so far. Nuevo's picked up a knock towards the end of that first half, so he's going to come off at half-time. But otherwise, I think it'll probably be the same team that comes out to start the second half, unless there's anything I see that's any stranger. But really, we've gone from some of our worst performances of the season at the end of November to now being certainly one of our best performances this season so far. And we have been a bit all over the place, but much better, much stronger going forward, much solider at the back, and hopefully we can just continue on the same vein in the second half. So we've made just the one change at halftime. We brought João Mendes on for Nuevo in the centre of the midfield. Right, Thibaut with a throw, goes long, Casanova looks to flick it on, it's worked its way back into the box. Kerr again lifts it up to the back post. Cochise there, and that's 4-0 after 52 minutes. And the fans are certainly enjoying this one. It was a bit of sort of head tennis here, couple of headers, half a clearance. Kerr then just lifts the volley over to the back post. Cochise reacted when the defender didn't, heads home, 4-0 up. Right, a corner for them, Lovombo to take it on his left foot, swinging it in, presumably. It's headed up in the air from the edge of the box. Shot was originally blocked. They've poked home the rebound. It's 4-1, and hopefully the alarm bells don't start ringing, because when we played Arbroath, who are rock bottom with 4 points all season, once they scored, we seemed to get all panicky and ended up needing a 98th minute winner to win the game. But straight from the kickoff, we've got the ball at the back with San Martin. Dudu down the right hand side, back to Cochise, lifts it into the box. It's headed clear, and now Scamacca's got it. Oh, and Kerr wins it back. D'Alessandro into the box to Cochise. And thankfully, we've restored that 4-goal advantage, 5-1. And hopefully we can just make sure we keep control of this. Don't concede another one. Make it nice and easy for the rest of the game. Lovely ball by D'Alessandro. Cochise just waits and then slots past the keeper. And 5-1. Right, we've brought some more fresh legs on just to try and see out the game. It's an interesting scoreline in the Rangers game. Obviously, we're level on points with them, having played a game more, but they were 4-1 up, or 4-2 up, and now it's been pulled back to 4-3. Throw into the box. Thibaut back to Kosic. Mendes goes all the way back to San Martin. Dudu in space down the right hand side. Gets to the loose ball. Andreas Thaler squares it. Hubernoff's shot's blocked. And they bring the ball clear down the left hand side. Our former player Darko Seymour loses out to Mendes there though. Right, a goal kick for us. Medina goes long. Sharp loses the header, but it goes straight to Rackler. San Martin in to Hubernoff. Right, Dudu into Hubernoff, who goes back to San Martin. We're keeping the ball, just popping it around nicely. Rackler into D'Alessandro. Thibaut with space to move down the left-hand side. Goes back to Mendes, though, who loses out. And now they're breaking. And they've still got the ball. Luvumbo. Domino looking for Seymour, who just goes down. It looked like he ran into the back of Dudu, and Dudu's got a second yellow card for I don't know what there and being sent off. And then from the resulting free kick, Luvumbo to step up to take it. Goes short. Galdames scores. That's 5-2, but surely it's too late for them to get anything back from this. I mean, just no one even picked him up. It was a simple pass, simple finish. And that's 5-2. Another free kick for them. Luvumbo lifts it into the box. We've got head on it. Kosic is bringing it clear. Up to D'Alessandro. Sharp onto Kosic down the left-hand side. Cuts back onto his right foot, cross to the back post, it's headed up in the air. Mendes finds Thaler. He scores from narrow angle to make it 6-2. And we might actually have our mojo back. Kosic's ball to the far post. D'Alessandro had a header for a chance for a second. It's come back out, and Thaler just drifts past his man and puts it between the keeper and the near post to make it 6-2. Right, in our half, Thibaut to Rackler. Into D'Alessandro, who looks for Hubernoff. Seymour got back at him. He's now received a second yellow card and been sent off. And there we go, full time, 6-2. Pretty much all we could have asked for in that game, apart from the red card. And hopefully that's a sign that our form's changed for the better. We've made it to the end of January and we've got our last Champions League game coming up against Athletic Bilbao. And we've managed to continue on our decent run of form. We go into that Champions League game with a really decent chance of making it into the knockout stages again. After the Celtic game, we stuck with the 4-3-3. We had a pretty dire game against Hibs. They took the lead. We then had a player quickly sent off, and then we equalised. We just couldn't get a winner in that game. We were then at home to Aberdeen, who we hammered 7-1. We went to St Mirren and beat them 4-1. And again, had Aberdeen at home in the Scottish Cup and beat them comfortably 5-2. We then won 4-2 in Salzburg. And then we beat Livingston 4-1 in the most recent league game. So looking at the Champions League, as we've got Athletic Bilbao next, we are sat one place outside where the teams that have automatically qualified are. We've got 9 points from 7 games. If we draw, because of the goal difference, we've got a pretty decent chance of being in the top 24 and making it to the knockout stage. If we win, we'll certainly be there. If we lose, then we could be in a bit of bother going into that stage. And as far as the league's concerned, we are second. We're 2 points behind Rangers. They've got a game in hand. It's that game that we drew against Hibs that's caused us to slip slightly further behind. We are pretty comfortably clear of Hibs in third and Celtic in fourth. So it looks like it's down to ourselves and Rangers for the title. We've still got to play them another couple of times this season, and that would be more than enough to make a swing either way as far as the title race is concerned. Our undoubted star players this season have been Cochise and Alan Kerr, both in the top 3 for average ratings, both joint second top goal scorer, both the top 2 in assists, and hopefully they can continue this form on for the rest of the season. Transfer-wise, we've not brought anyone in January so far, and it's very unlikely with some time left before the end of the transfer deadline that we would bring anyone else in. Outgoings, though, we've showed Luis Roberto to Almeida, just wasn't getting a look in, hadn't developed as we were expecting him to, and hopefully that's the only outgoing as well. But now we come back to a game against Athletic Bilbao. We're missing Andre Nuevo, who's injured, but otherwise we've got a fully fit and available Champions League squad to choose from. Let's find out what happens. So this is the side we've picked for the last game of the league phase. It's pretty much our full strength team. Obviously, as we said, Nuevo's out injured, so Mendes is coming to the centre of that midfield. And really, as long as we avoid defeat, we should make it through. But we're in pretty decent form, so hopefully, especially with it being at home, we can go out there, get a result, and get a win, and guarantee that we finish in the qualifying places for the knockout stage. Not much happening early on by the looks of things. We've had plenty of shots, but obviously none of them good enough to get a highlight. They've got a free kick now that they've lifted into the box. It's been flicked on, but it's gone straight through to Medina. He's then gone long. It's come off a defender to Casanova, but he's then stumbled on it. It's gone back to their keeper, and now they're bringing it forward. And they've gone all the way back to the keeper, who then passes it out. It goes back to the keeper again. And then we've nicked the ball back. Mendes to Dusink. Alan Kerr. And the keeper turns it behind for a corner. And Kerr goes across to take it. Whips it into the near post on his right foot. And the header's turned behind for another corner. And Kerr again. Again whips it in towards that near post. Casanova gets his head to it, but his flicked header just drifts over the top. Right, the keeper goes out to the right back, down the line. Pass into the middle of the pitch, picked out by Rackler. Out to Cochise. Drifts in onto his left foot. Bends it into the bottom corner. Puts us 1-0 up. And we're in a pretty decent position here, and based on the amount of chances created, it's certainly deserved. Obviously, they've had a lot more possession, but Cochise just drifts in off that right wing from the edge of the D, bends it on his left foot into the bottom corner, past the keeper. Right, Cochise swings in a corner from the right. Rackler gets his head to it, but it goes over the top. Medina with a long goal kick. It's headed back. Rackler's got the ball now, bringing it forward from the back. Finds Kerr. It goes down the outside. And then pulls the ball across. Casanova. Back to Dusink. Empty goal to fire it into. That's 2-0. And hopefully that should be us guaranteeing ourselves a spot in the knockout stages here. Kerr just goes all the way down the outside. Goes past 2. Pulls it back to Casanova. With 2 defenders and the goalkeeper around him. Turns, finds Dusink. And no one to block the shot into the empty goal. And there we go, half time. We've got a pretty comfortable 2-0 lead. Hopefully we can just keep going in the second half. Not let our levels drop. Not let them back into the game. And guarantee ourselves a spot in the knockout stages. Right, another corner from the left-hand side. Kerr across to take it again. In swinging to the near post. Headed up in the air. Casanova gets his head on it. It comes back to Kerr. And then Dusink charges into the box, smashes it high over the top. But from that resultant goal kick, Kerr nicks it off the right back, crosses, looking for Cochise, who heads it down to Casanova, and he fires home from a pretty tight angle. And early goal in the second half puts us 3-0 up and really, really in control. Kerr was reacted quicker than their fullback. It's played out to Cochise, who nods it down. Casanova takes a touch and then just fires it past the keeper. Right, corner from the right, Cochise swings it in. It's headed clear as far as Kerr. Dusink back out to Cochise, back to Dusink on the edge of the box. And his effort just didn't bend enough and just drifts wide of the far post. Right, so they're trying to play out from the back. They've worked the ball to Nico Williams. He loses out. Casanova's now in. And he just drags his shot wide of the far post. It looks as though the game's starting to drift now. They're not trying to get back into it. We're not pushing forward too much more. But we've got a free kick here. Dusink lifts it up. It's headed up in the air. It's still alive. And Fraser Sharp heads wide. And there we go. Full time 3-0. We guaranteed ourselves a place in the knockout stage of the Champions League at the last gasp. And now we just need to continue on this decent run of form. And there we are, the end of another episode, and things are looking pretty decent again after a bit of a wobbly spell in the previous episode and the beginning of this episode. We are still sat second in the league. Obviously, we're 2 points behind Rangers. They've got a game in hand, which makes the game that comes at the beginning of the next episode even more important because we're playing Rangers first up in the next episode. Obviously, we've now made it through to the Champions League knockout stages. We're still in the Scottish Cup, so we've still got a chance of some trophies this season. Join us next time to see whether we can continue this newfound good run of form. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.